This dot represents 1 Premier League point. This is a club in the relegation zone, 12 points. And this is a club that is in what will likely be the last European spot in the Premier League this season, 28 points. And this is Fulham, 28. Can Fulham do the impossible this season and reach European football? By the end of this video, I guarantee you'll know the answer. We'll start with the players, then cover some of their incredible results, and finish with a look at a tactical innovation by manager Marco Silva that is propelling them up the table. Americans Tim Ream and Jedi Robinson are playing a critical part in that push up the table. Anyone watching from afar may be surprised about the results, but not by the US connection. Full America lives on in Ream and Robinson, but before them came a long line of gritty trailblazers at Craven Cottage. Out of all of the goals scored in the Premier League by Americans, exactly half of those goals have been scored by Americans at one club, Fulham. But many of those players are ancient history by now, and few outside of Clint Dempsey and Brian McBride brought long-term success. There is something very special playing out at Craven Cottage this season, and the American hearts are at the very center of it. It's been a strong start to the season for Fulham. With 7 wins and just 1 loss to a team outside of the current top 6, the team is well positioned for a run at the top 4. They're only 7 points away right now. Even more impressively, their top scorer has reached double digits despite missing 2 penalties, and their captain and most trusted defender is a 35-year-old American, Tim Ream. With such a strong start to the season, it is natural to wonder if the team should start aiming higher than just mid-table security. A year ago, though, the idea of Fulham setting their sights on anything more than survival would have been unimaginable. But under the leadership of Marco Silva, the team has exceeded expectations. The team's ambition on the field has propelled them up the table, and now they're finding ways to win rather than ways to lose. Their victory over Southampton on New Year's Eve, in which they had to rely on some clever set pieces to secure the win, is just one example of this. And the question now is just how far this ambition can take them. In a team of the so-called other 14 teams, excluding the current top 6, and their results against those teams, Fulham are top of the table. The only time ever in their history that they've been higher in the table at this stage in the season was in 2003. So how have they done it? What does their playstyle look like under Marco Silva? At the outset, it might seem like your run-of-the-mill 4-2-3-1, but there are very interesting tactical wrinkles that I want to cover for you. They have key players in important positions that allows them to play a certain way. Anthony Robinson on the left, and Mitrovic is an old-school poaching forward who is excellent at what he does. Balls that are whipped in at head height are essentially free shots for the Serbian. While you may expect them to be a more defensive team trying to avoid relegation this year, they've somehow managed to outscore 12 other clubs, including Manchester United. They're a team that's comfortable out of possession, and they like to press narrow passing lanes to force teams wide, and then press the man once the ball is in the area of the pitch that can be trapped. You can see this play out in the incredibly high interception numbers for their players in the double pivot midfield. They excel at transitioning up the field quickly and getting early crosses onto the head of Alexander Mitrovic, who is attacking the goal while defenders are running back towards their own net. In possession, deep in their half, Fulham will align in a 2-4-4 formation where the fullbacks can set up in the same line as the double pivot. This allows the team to have multiple different passing triangles to build from the back. I especially love when teams do something just a little bit different than what is currently popular in the tactical meta. Usually, teams that play with possession are looking to build between each line, so they eventually find themselves in the attacking third with the ball. Fulham, on the other hand, prefer to hold possession in their half in order to spring forward, essentially loading their attack before bursting forward with pace and width. They do so mainly by using their passing triangles before one of their midfielders finds a switch of play. Using a double pivot with this tactic also allows them to protect against counters. And really quickly guys, if you have enjoyed this video so far, can I please ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel? Thank you so much. The goal of possession for Fulham is to either find their number 10 between the lines or get their winger into space to drive the team forward. As soon as the 10 can turn or their wingers have an option to attack, the fullbacks will push up to give the attacking line width. For Fulham, while fitness is a concern, as long as key players like Mitrovic, João Palhinha in the midfield, Jedi Robinson on the left, and Tim Ream in center back can stay healthy, they have a strong chance at success. Obviously, Mitrovic is going to be the star of most of these conversations, but I do want to take a moment to focus our eyes on two Americans on the left side of the defense. Captain Tim Ream and left back Anthony Jedi Robinson have helped immensely for Fulham to lock down their own net. And even if you're an American fan interested in the players representing the Stars and Stripes, we have to call out the 27-year-old midfielder João Palhinha, who is leading the club in almost every single tackling stat there is, from a holding pivot midfield position. Tim Ream and Jedi Robinson are a dynamic duo on defense and are shutting down some of the best front lines in the world. Ream in particular is an astonishing story this season, leading the club in blocks and interceptions, and leads the defensive line in every passing category. Ream is supposed to be approaching the end of his time as a player, but instead, he's playing some of the best football of his career under Silva as a confident, tempo-controlling central defender. His poise on the pitch even caught the attention of Pep Guardiola, who said that if he were 10 years younger, he would have signed Ream for Manchester City. And it's undeniable that the team is performing well beyond the initial expectations. For the owners Shahid and Tony Khan, the goal has been to establish Premier League stability, and it seems that this team and manager may finally be able to break the club's yo-yo cycle of alternating between promotion and relegation. If they can maintain their form in 2023, it could mark the end of a streak of 5 consecutive seasons of movements between the divisions. Marco Silva maintains that the team's target for the season hasn't changed from avoiding relegation, but it's clear that Fulham's horizons are expanding thanks to their winning ways. The coach and fans will still be mindful of the bottom 3 and the gap to safety, but it is hard not to dream of European qualification when the team is currently occupying a spot in the top 7. It's a natural response after such a successful year. Can they truly keep this form up and make it to Europe? Time will tell.